Beijing's fourth plenum quietly ended, yet it detonated a power earthquake. Attendance was only 82%, the lowest since the Cultural Revolution. 2 senior CMC officials and multiple generals and lieutenant generals were expelled. Zhang Shiming was rapidly elevated to CMC vice chairman, while Dong Jun was passed over again. With military power reshuffled and the Xi core loosening, is the era of collective leadership set to return? This mute meeting may be the beginning of a soft landing for the Xi era. Don't miss the next drop, subscribe and hit the bell. This mute meeting in Beijing has finally concluded. The CCP's fourth plenum had no applause, no group photos, no footage. Yet its cold communiqué buried 3 shockwaves. First, the attendance rate was only 82%, the lowest since the Cultural Revolution. Second, another purge storm hit the military. 2 senior CMC officials and multiple generals and lieutenant generals were expelled. Third, Zhang Shiming was swiftly elevated to CMC vice chairman, replacing He Weidong. Military power has been reshuffled. What does one in, one out mean? Some say this is Xi Jinping's victory, others say it is the first chapter of his power loosening. Most peculiar of all, PRC Defense Minister Dong Jun was once again stuck outside the door. Even Hong Kong media had pre-announced he would enter the CMC, yet in the entire communiqué, his name vanished. One rise, one fall, one stillness, one movement. On the surface this meeting was calm, but in reality it resembled a power quake. Some analyses say it signals the return of collective leadership, others put it more bluntly, this is the Xi era beginning to enter a soft landing. The communiqué's order downgrade hints at loosening Xi authority. The 4-day 20th CCP fourth plenum quietly ended on the afternoon of October 23. From opening to closing, the meeting proceeded amid various rumors and tense silence. No venue footage, no leadership group photo, not even synchronized media coverage. Only around 5 p.m. on the 23rd did Xinhua issue the communiqué to officially announce the closing. That evening CCTV's Xinwen Lianbo finally aired footage. The communiqué looked standard at first glance, but a close read of the roster and attendance reveals the atmosphere was unusual. According to Xinhua, attending this plenum were 168 full Central Committee members and 147 alternate members. By the original composition of the 20th Central Committee, there should be 205 full members and 167 alternates. This means 37 full members and 20 alternates were absent, with an attendance rate of only 82%, the lowest since the Cultural Revolution. Even allowing for leave or medical absence, such numbers still show fierce infighting at the top and abnormally taut political nerves. Beyond the odd attendance list, the wording of this plenum's communiqué itself drew attention. According to the October 23 Xinhua release of the communiqué of the fourth plenary session of the 20th Central Committee, the document again reiterates upholding and strengthening the centralized and unified leadership of the party's Central Committee, and proposes adhering to using the party's self-revolution to lead social revolution, among other phrases. Compared with the communiqué of the 19th Central Committee's fourth plenum, this document shows 2 notable changes in wording. First, it clearly weakens the prominence of Xi Jinping thought. Second, it re-emphasizes the centralized and unified leadership of the party's Central Committee. Current affairs commentator Kai Shinkuan points out that the communiqué places Xi Jinping thought after Marxism-Leninism, Mao Zedong thought, Deng Xiaoping theory, the important thought of the 3 represents, and the scientific outlook on development, which is a further de-emphasis of Xi thought. This change is not only an adjustment in order, it also reflects a cooling of personality cult propaganda around Xi in the ideological domain. The communiqué also particularly emphasizes upholding and strengthening the centralized and unified leadership of the party's Central Committee and adhering to the party's self-revolution to lead social revolution. According to previous official reports, this June the CCP Politburo reviewed the working regulations for the party's Central Committee's decision-making and deliberation coordinating bodies, which the authorities called an important institutional arrangement to improve the party's Central Committee's centralized and unified leadership over major work. Under the highly centralized political system since she took office, a sudden re-emphasis on centralized and unified leadership in a central document is clearly a signal that Xi's personal power is loosening. Additionally, on the day before the plenum closed, October 22, the PLA Daily published a commentary, "Take the lead in self-revolution," echoing the self-revolution line and further reinforcing this political direction. Commentator Zhou Xiaohui believes these signs indicate the CCP top echelon is moving toward collective leadership. Regardless of whether Xi's titles are adjusted, after the fourth plenum the CCP moving toward collective leadership is already a foregone conclusion. Overall, informed the communiqué allows Xi Jinping to temporarily save face as the core, but whether the leadership status can endure remains to be tested by time. Massive collapse among Central Committee members, major personnel reshuffle. The fourth plenum communiqué was filled with the CCP's political boilerplate. The largest portion still revolved around pronouncements and tone-setting for the 15th five-year plan, emphasizing pushing national strength building and national rejuvenation through Chinese-style modernization and other slogan-like content. But what truly attracted external attention was not the boilerplate, but the personnel moves hidden at the end of the communiqué. The meeting said it reviewed and approved the CCDI's investigation reports on the serious violations of discipline and law by Tang Renjian, Jin Xiangjuan, Li Shusong, Yang Feizhen, and Zhu Jisong. It also reviewed and approved the CMC's investigation reports on the serious violations of discipline and law by He Weidong, Miao Hua, He Hongjun, Wang Xiaobin, Lin Xianyang, Qin Shutong, Yuan Huaji, Wang Chuning, Zhang Fengzhong, and others, and it confirmed prior Politburo decisions to expel. From the party He Weidong, Miao Hua, Tang Renjian, Jin Xiangjuan, He Hongjun, Wang Xiaobin, Lin Xianyang, Qin Shutong, Yuan Huaji, Wang Chuning, Li Shusong, Yang Feizhen, Zhu Jisong, and Zhang Fengzhong. Among them, Zhang Fengzhong is director of the Political Work Department of the Rocket Force, with the rank of Lieutenant General. He is an alternate member of the 20th Central Committee. This is the first disclosure of his fall. Zhang Shiming was added as a vice-chairman of the Central Military Commission. Alternate Central Committee members Yu Huiwen, Ma Hansheng, Wang Jian, Wang Shi, Wang Yonghong, Wang Tingkai, Wang Xinwei, Wei Tao, Deng Yiwu, Deng Xiuming, and Lu Hong were elevated to full Central Committee members. But comparing with the original roster of the 20th Central Committee, full and alternate members reveals that this round of replacements did not follow the established intra-party order of precedence. Instead, it was a jump replacement, skipping over multiple alternates with higher ranking numbers. According to the X account, China Personnel Watch, the lowest-ranked new full member this time is Lu Hong, a Chongqing Municipal Party Standing Committee member and Wanzhou District Party Secretary. She was ranked 22nd among the 20th Central Committee alternate members. Excluding the 3 replacements at the 3rd plenum and the 11 at this 4th plenum, 8 people ahead of Lu were skipped: Rocket Force Deputy Political Commissar Ding Xingnong, Rocket Force Deputy Commander Lieutenant General Wang Lian, Joint Logistics Support Force Commander Lieutenant General Wang Kongping, Vice Minister of Education Wang Jiai, CMC General Office Director Lieutenant General Fang Yongxiang, Xi'an Party Secretary Fang Hongwei, Yunnan CPPCC Vice Chairman Shi Yugang, and Northern Theater Command Army Commander Lieutenant General Shi Zhenglu. 5 of them are from the military system. China Personnel Watch said, by the next plenum, who knows, they might all be expelled from the party. Zhang Shiming promoted to CMC Vice Chairman. The most eye-catching focus externally is that Zhang Shiming, Secretary of the CMC Discipline Inspection Commission and Director of the CMC Supervisory Commission, who oversees anti-corruption in the military, replaced He Weidong to become the CMC's second-ranking Vice Chairman. Public information shows Zhang Shiming was born in 1958 in Wugong County, Shaanxi Province. He enlisted in 1978 and served long-term in the 2nd Artillery, now the Rocket Force, having been Political Commissar of the CMC Training and Administration Department and the Logistics Support Department, as well as Secretary of the CMC Discipline Inspection Commission and Director of the CMC Supervisory Commission. He was promoted to Lieutenant General in 2016 and to Full General at the end of 2017, in the same year becoming a CMC member and Deputy Secretary of the Central Discipline Inspection Commission, overseeing discipline and anti-corruption within the military. Some views hold that Zhang's promotion reflects the CCP top leaders' extraordinary trust in him. Zhang has served in the Rocket Force and the Logistics Support Department, both epicenters of anti-corruption, yet he was not implicated. Instead he was promoted, which may prove his role in purges and his loyalty to Xi. However, most opinions suggest Zhang has close ties with the first-ranking CMC Vice Chairman, Zhang Youxia. Both belong to the Shaanxi faction. In terms of positions, the two long cooperated earlier within the CMC's logistics and equipment systems. Zhang Youxia served as head of the General Armaments Department, while Zhang Shiming was political commissar in the Logistics Support Department. Their departments worked together frequently. After entering the CMC, Zhang Youxia oversaw operations and equipment. Zhang Shiming oversaw discipline and supervision. The two are seen as the military's civil and martial Shaanxi alliance, the representatives of the Shaanxi faction. Multiple Hong Kong media outlets and overseas commentaries argue that the disciplinary probes and purges of He Weidong, Miao Hua, and others led by Zhang from 2023 to 2025 effectively cleared obstacles for Zhang Youxia. The Epoch Times reported that Zhang's promotion indicates military power, flowing back from Xi Jinping to the Zhang Youxia system, a sign of internal takeover. Synthesizing various analyses, Zhang's political affiliation shows duality. On one hand, he is Xi's key enforcer in the anti-corruption drive, on the other, he and Zhang Youxia are standard-bearers of the Shangxi faction. This ambiguous relationship means he could be Xi's last shield within the military, or the bridge by which the Zhang Youxia camp consolidates its strength. Why did Dong Jun fail to enter the CMC? Beyond Zhang's role change, another equally notable point is that PRC Defense Minister Dong Jun did not enter the CMC as expected. On the eve of the communiqué's release, Guangming Daily even wrote that Dong would join the CMC. Several Hong Kong outlets had made the same prediction earlier. Dong Jun took office after former Defense Minister Li Shangfu was detained. Even so, Dong has not, as per convention, joined the CMC. Not only that, he has repeatedly disappeared from public view, and the general belief is that since taking office he has undergone multiple rounds of assisting investigations. Dong comes from the Navy, as did former CMC Political Work Department Director Miao Hua. Thus, it is widely believed Dong was implicated by the Miao case and therefore investigated. As for how he passed scrutiny, many believe it was related to Peng Liyuan. Commentator Deng Yuan once wrote in Voice of America that Dong's rise was not only due to Miao Hua's recommendation. Xi's wife Peng Liyuan may also have played a major role. Dong is from Shandong, and so is Peng. Besides the well-known Minjiang and Shangxi factions, there is also a Shandong faction associated with Peng, which is emerging as a new force in CCP politics. Earlier, pro-CCP Hong Kong media revealed that Peng Liyuan is a full-time member of the CMC Cadre Evaluation Committee, involved in the management of military cadres and helping Xi gatekeep personnel assessments. If so, it is hard to imagine she would not be involved in a post as important as defense minister. Therefore, the general view is that Dong's clearance was related to Peng Liyuan. However, Dong again failed to make the CMC member list, which may be connected to constraints on Xi's control over military power. The CMC added only one vice chair and left other vacancies. Dong's absence suggests the military power structure is being readjusted once more, or that Xi's military authority has been circumscribed. Dong's prolonged failure to enter the CMC reflects not only an individual promotion issue, but also signals regarding military factions, power trust, and control of command. In short, Dong's miss is not a simple personnel change but a small yet evident piece on the grand chessboard of the military. Its underlying power implications merit continued observation. Thus Dong's outcome can be regarded as an important observation point in the architecture of Xi's control over the military during this fourth plenum. Whether he will later be brought back into the core or become a symbol of being marginalized in the military is worth tracking. Zhang Shiming's promotion may symbolize the start of a new round of balance within the military. Dong Jun's halt reminds the outside world that Xi Jinping's era of one and only authority is no longer secure. What this CCP fourth plenum leaves behind is neither a clear policy direction nor a stable power structure, but a more closed-off, more fragile, and more uncertain political landscape for the CCP.